What's up? This is Professor Paul back once again with another installment of Speak Swedish Stupid. Now, today I want to talk a little bit about nouns and adjectives and how they work together. I'm not going to cover everything. For that, you're going to have to get my DVD, which will be coming out in a few weeks. At my, you can get it from my website, speakswedishstupid.com. But right now, I wanted to cover a few things because it can be very confusing for a lot of beginners with Swedish when they start talking and when they start trying to write, because that's the thing, is Swedish is very, 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 very similar to English, but there's a few things that are a little bit different, and once you get over those humps, then you can start improvising, like I said, speaking and doing whatever you want to do in Swedish. So let's try to get this down today, okay? Let's say I would like, or I want, which you basically say I want to have. Alright, jag vill ha. Alright, en bil. Alright, bil is like automobile, but they just took off the auto and just bil, okay? En is the word for a, alright? Or one. Alright, jag vill ha en bil. I want a car. Alright? Now, when you want to reverse that and say, I want the car, you want to make it definite, because this is indefinite. It could be any car, alright? But if you want a specific car, then you want the car. Now, what the Swedes do, which is one of the few things they do different from English, is they take that definite article, and instead of having another word, like we have a or the, sometimes that, an, like if it comes before a vowel. But we either have a or the. And so we know whether it's indefinite, a, or definite, the. For them, they have the same word, okay? And the way they know if it's like definite or indefinite is by where they place it. If they place it before the word as its own word, separate, then it's indefinite, okay? If, however, they place it at the end of the word, right? Because you see bil, bilen, then that's definite. Alright, that means the car. So if you say, I want the car, not a car or any car, but the car, that car. Jag vill ha bilen. I want the car. I want the car. I want to have the car. Alright? Now if you say you want a red car, this is where it gets a little tricky. A red car. It doesn't seem that weird, right? En röd bil. En röd bil. Now, I said it was going to get tricky. Look at here. When you want the red car, all of a sudden you just can't say red, the red car, alright, den, which also can mean the or that, alright? So all of a sudden, you're not saying the at the end by using the indefinite article at the end. Are you following me? You're now using this new form of a definite article, den, which means basically it or that, alright? But now you're using it to denote the word the. Okay, and then you're saying röd, which means red, but you're putting an a at the end, which makes it a plural version of the word red, which we'll learn in my DVD on nouns, that a makes the adjective plural. Well, even actually my DVD on the verb to be and adjectives, you'll find, there's, I do some adjective work there, and you'll see that the plural of any adjective, any adjective, I mean there are exceptions, but you're going to put an a at the end, alright? So, den, so you're now going to say, if you want to say, and then you're going to also put this there, alright? Again, you're going to put that indefinite article right there at the end of the word for car, bilen. So you have a double definite, right? It's definite because you're saying it in the beginning, like trying to use the word the, but you're saying it, and then you're saying plural, alright, röda, and then you're saying at the end, or the at the end, so the red car the. Alright? Or the Reds car the. Alright? A little confusing, but that's the way it works in Swedish. You have to make a double definite there. Alright? It red car the. Is essentially what you're saying. It red car the. And that means the red car. Alright? That works with any noun. And to clarify this for you, let's use another noun. And this time let's make it an et word. Alright? Because you know there's two kinds of words. Et and en words in Swedish. Or det and den words. And let's use the word for house because it's pretty close to English. So we have ett hus. Okay? A house. Et hus. Why a house is an et word and bil is an n word. There's no really specific reason. It's not like Spanish or anything because it ends with an A that you know it's going to be a feminine, or that it ends with an O or a consonant that you know it's going to be masculine. Most of the time, you know, obviously the Greek words, you know, the Spanish words that come from Greek origins usually are reversed like that. But we're talking about Swedish now. But in Swedish, there's no really rhyme or reason. You start picking up on patterns once you get to learn the vocabulary better, on predicting whether it's going to be an et or an n word. And I'll go into that more in my DVD on nouns, how you can predict the endings of words most of the time. Or, I mean, the gender, whether it's going to be an et word or an n word. But in the beginning, for the most part, you're going to have to just kind of know that. There's no formula, all right, as in what the word ends in. So, moving on, et hus, okay, a house. The house, you put the et at the end, but you take away a t. A little peculiar, but that's what you do. Et house, a house, et hus. The house, huset. Jag vill ha ett hus. I want a house. Jag vill ha huset. I want the house. Alright, just take away the T. Huset. Huset. Alright? Now, if you want a red house, another tricky thing with the adjective, you have to change this to a T. Alright? And they like to shorten the vowel in such situations, so they put two T's there. Alright? Et rött hus. Alright? A red house. Alright, so instead of saying röd hus, you say rött hus. So it's in congruence with this et. Alright, et rött hus. Et rött hus. Alright, so now you have congruence. En röd bil, you know, so most of the time, N words, especially when it ends in D, you know, it's going to end in D and then it's going to turn to T. You're going to replace that D with a T. I'll get into that more in adjective theory when we get into our more advanced DVDs that you'll get on my website, but for right now, just know et rött hus. Alright? You gotta change that. A lot of other adjectives, sometimes you just add a T to the end. Alright? Like the word fin, which means nice or fine. Alright? It would be, I'll write that down for you. So you can see the difference here. You can see fin, alright, and fint. You just add a T to the end, alright? Fin, fint. So you'd say en fin bil, and you say et fint hus. Okay, but in this situation you have to change the two T's, rött hus. Okay? Now, if you want to say the, not a red house, but the red house, again, you got to use this word for it, but now you're going to use a T word for it, det, alright, because house is a et word, alright. Then you're going to use the plural again in the middle of the adjective, so it's not going to be det rött huset, it's going to be röda huset, alright. And then you also put the T at the end again, you say the house, so it reds house the, and that's how you say the red house, det röda huset. Okay? A little complex. One of the weird things, most of the stuff in Swedish is very easy to understand if you're from, you know, English speaking, but that's one of the peculiarities, and so I wanted to cover that. Email me with any questions at speakswedishstupid@gmail.com and check out the website for upcoming products that are going to skyrocket your Swedish. Speakswedishstupid.com. Talk to you soon.